Abuja was glowing that Saturday morning. The sun was out, and the city buzzed with the usual weekend rush. But Amelia's heart wasn't rushing. It was calm, unusually calm, considering what was about to happen. She stood in front of a mirror, looking at herself. The reflection staring back didn't look like the Amelia she used to know, the one who had begged Michael to stay, cried through sleepless nights, and questioned her worth. This Amelia was different. She was confident, strong, beautiful. She wore a royal blue dress that hugged her figure perfectly, with her hair pulled back into a sleek low bun. A touch of red lipstick completed the look. It wasn't just about looking good, it was about making a statement. Her phone buzzed. It was a message from Brian. Outside, ready when you are. Amelia smiled. Brian had been a surprising twist in her story. When she started her job at Nest Tech Solutions 3 months ago, she had only wanted to survive. But Brian, the CEO, had taken notice of her work ethics and quiet strength. Over time, he became her friend, her mentor, and now, her unexpected date to her ex-husband's wedding. As she walked out of her apartment, Brian was leaning casually against his black Mercedes Benz. He looked effortlessly handsome in his tailored grey suit, his confident smile making her heart skip a little. "Wow," he said as he opened the car door for her. "Michael is not ready for this." Amelia laughed softly, shaking her head. "This is not about Michael. This is about me showing myself that I have moved on." Brian nodded approvingly. "And you are going to do it in style." The wedding venue was a grand hall in Maitama. Cars were parked everywhere, and the sound of music spilled from inside. Amelia took a deep breath as Brian offered her his arm. Inside, the room was already buzzing with guests. Laughter, chatter, and the clinking of glasses filled the air. Amelia felt heads turn as they walked in. She kept her eyes forward, refusing to shrink under their gaze. And then she saw him, Michael. He stood near the altar, tall and well-dressed, his arm around his bride, Chika, the woman who had been her friend once, before betrayal turned everything bitter. Michael's confidence smirk froze when he saw Amelia with Brian. Brian led Amelia straight to the front row, not missing the way Michael's expression shifted from pride to shock. "Who's that with her?" Amelia heard someone whisper behind her. "That's Brian Okafor, the new owner of Michael's company," another voice answered. Amelia almost smiled. The information was spreading like wildfire across the hall. When the ceremony began, Amelia sat gracefully, her chin slightly lifted, her presence impossible to ignore. Michael kept glancing at her and at Brian, clearly distracted. During the reception, Brian excused himself to speak with some business associates, leaving Amelia at the table. That was when Michael approached. "You came," he said quietly, forcing a smile. "Yes," Amelia replied. "I was invited." Michael's eyes darted towards Brian, who was laughing with a group of executives across the room. "So you brought him?" "Yes," Amelia said again, her tone calm but sharp. "Why? Is there a problem?" Michael's jaws tightened. "No problem. Just surprising." Amelia leaned closer, lowered her voice. "Michael, I'm not here to fight. I'm not here to cry or cause drama. I just came to say congratulations and wish you well." Her words seemed to sting him more than an insult would have. Brian returned just then, placing a protective hand on the small of Amelia's back. "Everything alright here?" he asked, his eyes fixed on Michael. Michael nodded stiffly. "Yes, sir." "Sir." The words seemed to taste bitter on Michael's tongue. Brian smiled faintly, shook Michael's hand firmly, and led Amelia away. As the evening went on, Amelia danced, laughed, and looked radiant. People couldn't stop whispering, not about bride and groom, but about Amelia and the powerful man by her side. By the time she and Brian left the hall, Michael was no longer the center of attention at his own wedding. He stood near the door, watching them leave with a look Amelia couldn't quite read. Anger, regret, maybe both. In the car, Brian glanced at her. "How do you feel?" Amelia exhaled softly, a small smile on her lips. "Lighter, free, like I finally got my power back." Brian smiled and started the engine. "Good, because this is just the beginning." Amelia looked out the window at Abuja night skyline, her heart beating with a mix of relief and excitement. For the first time in a long time, she wasn't thinking about Michael. She was thinking about herself, and maybe about what could happen next with Brian. The days after the wedding were surprisingly peaceful for Amelia. She returned to work at Next Tech Solution, feeling lighter, happier. Her colleagues noticed her glow, and she often caught Brian watching her with that quiet, approving smile. But Michael wasn't done. 3 days later, Amelia got a call from an unknown number. When she answered, his voice came through, calm but sharp. "Amelia, we need to talk," Michael said. "There's nothing left to talk about," she replied firmly. "I think there is," he said. "You embarrassed me at my wedding." Amelia almost laughed. "You invited me to humiliate me, Michael. You wanted me to sit there and watch you marry Chika like I was nothing. But I didn't break. That's not humiliation. That's karma." He went silent for a moment, then said bitterly, "You think you're better than me now because you showed up with Brian." "I don't have to think it," Amelia said softly. "I know it." Then she ended the call. But Michael wasn't ready to let go. The next week at the office, Amelia heard whispers that Michael had gone to Brian's office to talk to him. Later that day, Brian called her in. "Michael came here," Brian said carefully. "He tried to convince me you are unstable and not fit to work in this company. He wanted me to fire you." Amelia's heart sank. "He what?" Brian's jaw tightened. "I told him I don't mix business with gossip. I also told him that if he ever speaks about you that way again, he'll be facing a formal HR complaint." He wasn't pleased. Amelia swallowed hard. "I didn't expect him to go that far." Brian leaned forward. "You need to understand something, Amelia. Men like Michael hate losing control. You took back your power, and now he feels small. He's lashing out because he can't stand to see you win." For a moment, Amelia felt the old fear rising, but Brian's steady gaze calmed her. "Amelia," he said gently, "you're stronger than he ever thought you could be. Don't let him drag you back into his chaos." That Friday, Brian invited her to a private dinner at a quiet rooftop restaurant overlooking Abuja's glowing skyline. "I thought you deserved a proper night out," he said as they sat at the table set for two. It was the first time Amelia allowed herself to really breathe. The candlelight reflected in her eyes as Brian reached for her hand. "You know," he said softly, "when I saw you walk into that wedding with me, I was proud, not just because of how beautiful you looked, but because of how far you've come." Amelia felt her chest tighten. "I didn't think I could come this far. For a long time, I thought my life ended when Michael left me." "The life started when you chose yourself," Brian said with a small smile. For a long moment, they sat in silence, just looking at each other. Then Brian said quietly, "Amelia, I'd like to see where this could go. You and me, no pressure, just honest and real." Amelia's lips curled into a soft smile. "I'd like that too." Weeks passed. Michael tried once more to create trouble for her at work, spreading rumors that she was only close to Brian for favors. But this time, Amelia didn't stay quiet. She filed an official complaint, and with evidence of his harassment, HR launched an investigation. Within a month, Michael was called in and given a formal warning. His pride took a heavy hit, and word quickly spread around the office. For the first time, Michael avoided Amelia completely. One evening, Amelia stood on her balcony, the Abuja night air cool against her skin. Her phone buzzed with a message from Brian. "Tomorrow night, dinner. Just us. No wedding drama this time." Amelia laughed softly, typing back a simple yes. As she set her phone down, she felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Michael's chapter was finally closed, and she wasn't just surviving anymore. She was living. The next evening, as she dressed for dinner, Amelia caught her reflection in the mirror again. The woman staring back wasn't broken, bitter, or angry. She was strong, beautiful, and free, and she was walking into a future that she chose for herself. And that, she thought with a smile, was the real victory.